Hi everyone, my name is Ilonka Middelberg and I have a new prophetic word, and I actually just want to flow from the word. How the Lord started to speak to me is actually a year ago, almost a year ago. It was in the month of July 2024, and the Lord gave me a dream, and from that dream he started to speak. And the dream was about, I will just highlight one thing, but the thing was that in the dream, I was in this large building, and what happened is that it looked like a warehouse. It was like a large building. There were offices, there were a parking garage, and there were like a warehouse, like shops, just in the departments. And as I was walking there with my mother, I sensed that it was a very weird atmosphere. We were there, but as we were walking in the building, on this floor, we saw like a movement. We saw like, and what I mean with movement is that we weren't on the floor where the shops were, but we were on the floor where the offices were, and it was just all open. The entire floor was open with desks and computers, and that was a bit strange to walk in the office and not in the shop. But the movement, what I saw is that people were just cleaning up their desk, taking stuff, just taking stuff from their desk, and actually were walking away. And as I noticed that, I also saw that there were already quite a few people left, because the entire floor was quite big, and there were actually not that much people at that point. When I saw the people leaving, they looked at me and my mother, and I thought, oh my days, they're now going to say, what are you doing here? The shops are not on this floor. You're not supposed to be here. But that was not the case at all. They were just looking at us, staring, and then, grabbing their things and walk away. And when we had some eye contact, that was also when the atmosphere started to change, and where we just started to walk, we were just moving forward. And suddenly I discerned in the dream. So it was in the case that in the dream I was actually very awake. So senses, discernment was very alert and heightened, because I'm also with the Lord. I don't sleep, so to speak, so I'm just very tuned in. And as I saw a few people left, and with a few that I had this eye contact, I discerned that we should not continue to walk on that floor, but actually to leave that floor, because there was just a change in the atmosphere that didn't feel quite well. There was still calmness, but I really knew that we needed to leave that floor. And as we left the floor, I saw a door. So it was not the main way that you enter that floor, but it was like an exit door. We saw an exit door, and and my mother, I wasn't in conversation, because she was just following me. And so I saw that exit door, and I said, we need to leave right now, because I knew that if we would stay longer on the floor, then we will somehow get in trouble with the people on that floor, because there was this change in atmosphere, and I sensed that it could be hostile. So that's why we didn't leave the normal way, walking back or maybe walking forward and then leave the floor. But I saw an exit door, and we went into the exit door, and we just left the stairs. We saw the stairs, and we took the stairs down. And we took the stairs down, and I believe it was just one floor lower. And there we came walked through the exit door again, and there we came one floor lower on another department. And that department was actually like a warehouse, but it was empty. So there was not much stuff, but I knew that it was the department of warehouse, where normally you could buy some stuff, but it was empty. And I thought, where is everybody? So we walked, and at the end of that floor, at the end of the department, we saw the general stairs, where normally clients and customers, people would, besides the lift or elevator, you could use those stairs. Those were the main stairs. And we were walking towards that because I discerned that we actually needed to leave the building as soon as possible. We did not run, but it was all in a discernment that I thought we just need to leave the building, because upstairs they were leaving. Now a floor lower, it's totally empty. So what are we doing here? We need to leave as soon as possible. Now we can. And that's where, when I walked through the stairs, I saw a group of people sitting at the stairs. They were sitting. And I will do another video on the group of people that I saw sitting there. I will leave it out of this video. But I walked to the people, and actually I knew them. That's what I want to share right now. I knew the people from before, and I was surprised to see them. And as I was walking to them, I asked them, like, what is happening? Why are you sitting here? Why is the entire floor empty? We came from a floor higher. People were leaving there. I don't understand what is happening. And then the group said, Ilonka, haven't you heard the news? Haven't you just not heard the news? And I said, no, what news? And they said to me, World War III has started. And I was just staring at them. And they were actually, although they knew, but they were actually also staring like, what is going on, and how could this even happen and be true? So with that thought and with that feeling, I thought, like, my days, World War III happened. And we just left. They were sitting there, and I was with my mother, and I thought, let's just walk downstairs the building. Let's just walk downstairs and then see how we can leave the building. And as I was doing that, I received the news. I can't recall if it was on my phone but I listened to a radio program, sort of, and I heard indeed the announcement of World War III. And I was amazed, not just because, like, oh my days, is it really true? And are we a generation that we will see war with our own eyes? Because I am 50, and I grow up knowing about the World War II, reading about the World War II. My grandmother, who was, survived, so to speak, World War II. So that was like World War II, sort of close. But never, you never expect that you would be that person to go through a war yourself. So that was my amazement, but also that I sensed in the dream, as I was connecting with the Lord, that I also actually ignored signs and words of Him about World War III. And that was actually like a warning in the dream, like, don't downsize World War III. And so we walked downstairs, and we saw that, and going back to that moment that I felt not guilty, but convicted towards the Lord, because I know that He speaks to me not to keep things for myself. Certain things need to be released. And I struggled in real time with World War III for, I think, 2 years, not continuously, but it came and it left. And, it's some things are pretty heavy and you don't want to just release it. You want to be sure, you want to weigh the word, you wait, and, you weigh with other prophets, and you just listen to prophetic voices. And but yeah, in the dream was very clear, because I was so surprised, and actually in the dream the Lord said to me, but I told you that this would happen. So that was a personal warning in itself. So my mother was still with me. She hasn't said a word. And we walked down the stairs, and I saw the door where you could leave the building. And as I opened that door, we were outside, but it was still part of the building, with like an outer place, it was outside, but it belonged to the building property. And when we opened that door, everything was damaged. It was like as if there was a bomb exploded right there. I didn't smell fire or saw fire or whatever, smoke. It already happened. It just looked very damaged. And I didn't there was no one there. And I was like, my days, like this, like it was very confronting. And the weird thing is that the sun was shining. It was a very bright day, as it is today. Today it's Thursday, the 19th of June, 2025. I think sometimes we should do it more often to call the date and the year when we release a video. But today it's Thursday, the 19th of June 2025. It's a very sunny day. I live in the Netherlands. It's a very sunny day. And when we were outside of the building, it was also that sunny. It was a very sunny day. And that was so in contrast with the message. It was so in contrast with the message, because, it should be like a dark day, rainy, like that. So I was still in my days. This is happening. This is real. It still doesn't feel real. And oh yeah, this was also what I remember. I knew where I was actually on a vacation. It was on a holiday. So I also knew that when we walked outside, I knew that outside I would meet my husband and my children, that they were somewhere there as well, because we were on a holiday. And I was just thinking, as we walked outside and walked on the stairway, the stoop? We just walking, and we went into the direction automatically where we knew, like, if we go there, then there is where we meet the others. And we saw other people also just staring, walking in the same direction, and everyone was so amazed. And in that walk, I was just thinking, like, okay, we're on a holiday. Probably if we are, quick in, in responding in this, then the company the air company that we are with, they probably would do their very best to fly us back home sooner. That was my thinking. I was immediately thinking in solutions and all of that. And at some point I met my husband and children, so we reunited, and basically the dream ended. The Lord spoke a lot in the dream at the same time and also afterwards. And for me, still a year I waited to release about World War III, because I knew that World War III would happen. It is something that we could not pray away. It's part of, scripture and everything, the wars and rumors of wars. And it's just not something that we could pray away. We cannot delay it. Why should we delay? I think it's sometimes when you don't do things without understanding and you pray for a war to be delayed. My thinking is that you bother other people because if something needs to happen, then let it happen now and we can deal with it so that we can help, so that we don't bother other people. Like, oh, thank you, because you asked for a delay, now we have the war, something like that. It's a very serious message. World War III will come. I asked the Lord for a specific timeline, and he didn't give a date. That's why I still waited for a year. Like, oh my days, Lord. Even though he warned me that I supposed to mention it, I just waited because I want to be careful. And we don't live in fear, so I can basically just... Because I don't know fear in that way, I can release, right? Because I know things need to happen and the Lord is with us, especially for those who fear him. So, it's okay. But I do want to be very mature in these type of things. And the Lord always reveals to redeem, never to condemn. So the word is that World War III will happen. It will not... it's something that will not stop. I still don't have a specific timeline, like that. The Lord didn't say to me, it starts on the 1st of July 2025. What I do know is that I look the same as now. I wasn't like 20 years older. I saw the age of my children. My mother is who was with me must be alive because she was in a dream as well. So those are details that I know that that we are going to see a World War III. So not in 10 years, absolutely not in 10 years, but sooner than we think. And because everyone was so amazed and so surprised, even when they saw damage, like this is not happening, and the sun was shining. The Lord also remembered me about 2020 when, that same feeling when it was, well, here in the Netherlands, it was March 2020. Here in the Netherlands, it was March 2020, where I was at the office working, and I saw people leaving, and I was sitting in a corner, so not many people saw me, but I saw many people leaving, and I just first person, second person, third person, and with the fourth person I said, hey, hello, what are you going to do? Oh, Ilonka, you sit there in the corner, haven't you heard the news? I said, what news? Literally this. And you hear what I said in the dream. It was the same sentence in real time when 2020 was. I said, what news? We have to go home because this COVID thing, which was very new, is spreading. And there was just this message from the government that we all need to go home as soon as possible, and we will not see the office for the first 3 weeks. And I was like, my days. So I was running. Oh, my days. I was not running. I stood up from my desk, went to the stairs, this is real time. This was not a dream. Went to the stairs. I walked one floor lower because there was my actually department, and there was the manager where I worked for, and I walked to her because I wanted to get confirmed from her, like, hey, what is going on? And she confirmed that we needed to take our stuff, our laptops, everything, take as much as you can, because the first 3 weeks we will only work from home. And we were all surprised. So I took my stuff and I went home, and that was 2020. and I never saw that office again from the inside. But so there are similarities in the surprise that we have. And that's why the Lord is warning, because especially people in the West are so lukewarm when it comes to prophetic voices and when it comes to prophetic warnings, like, oh, we will see, and this too shall pass. And we have to come and understand why God is warning us, okay, and why we need to understand times and seasons and how we can prepare for certain things. And if you are afraid, and I just want to say, build up your relationship with the Lord. If you know me by now, I always encourage people to have this intimate relationship with the Holy Spirit. I released a prophetic word that this is the year of the word. That means that you should read your word, dive into it, study it, pray over it, fast for it, because you need it in the coming time, where confusion will rise as well. So if you are afraid by listening to this word, it is because you need to get closer in relationship with the Lord. My message is not scary. It's just the truth, and God reveals to redeem. So I'm always blessed with that. I just want to say, prepare for this in a way. Like I said, preparing your relationship with the Lord, build up your faith, build up your most holy faith, strengthen yourself in the Spirit, study and read the word as it is written, and go from there. Just go from there. I'm not saying you have to stock up stuff, but if the Lord reveals, do that. But what I do want to say is you cannot never get too close with the Lord. Just do that. And that's just it. I just wanted to say World War III will happen. We cannot delay it. I don't have a specific timeline, but let this encourage you to do what you need to do. If you're called to do business, if you need to take steps in that, then now is the time to do so. Don't wait. Don't be paralyzed, but let this activate you. Like, oh my days, I need to be up and running. I need to be war ready. My business needs to be war ready. Maybe you think, how do I do that? But it's instead of being paralyzed, start to think in solutions and start to think practically. Like, okay, I need to take some serious steps, need to do some strategies that the Lord has given to me. Just do what you need to do, because you are born for such a time as this. Not to sit in a corner and to cry, but to say, okay, Lord, whatever comes, here I am. I'm born for such a time as this, so tell me what I need to do. I just want to bless you with this word at the same time, and keep closer with him. He is your best friend, but are you his best friend? That's basically the question. And that you have to ask yourself. The Lord is good. He is merciful. He is amazing. And we're doing this with him. And he always says, fear not, Matthew 24, because Jesus says, fear not, all these things need to happen. So be blessed, be prepared, and see you in the next video.